Good evening. Welcome to another broadcast from Creators1News. This is the business segment tonight. It's another Monday night, and we typically jump this off at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And as usual, I will always be bringing you news from the outside. Try to make it connect with us here in a VR platform on the inside, and I will always try to make sure that we are informed to the degree that you can go back on your own, do a little research, look at some information, take down some notes, and then if you got any questions, you know where to find me when I'm in here. Just hit me up. And in the meantime, we have other platforms that you will find me at. Sometimes you see me like at other places like Rello's talk show or different people who invite me. I may be at, but tonight we at Creators One Business News. This is Creators One. This is you know Miss Rock said Universe Dragon. This is something that's been going on for a little over 3 years now. And when we first started, it was Meta News. And for those who remember Meta News, we're the same people, we're the same team, we're going strong, and everybody that's tried to come along and do the same thing, you don't really see them. So today, I'm glad everybody showed up. We have a group of people that came tonight, and I want to have a few people in here so that when I did make this announcement, the information would get out through your channels. Before this segment make it to YouTube. All our segments will eventually make it to YouTube, our YouTube channel. So you don't necessarily have to be here every Monday night to catch everything. So the first thing I want to talk about, if you guys are familiar with Bone, Bone passed away recently. Bone and Bunny, they were together. They met here. They were living together, and Bone just passed away recently. And so we're gonna have to come up with a way to support Bunny now to help her, because we're really her family. This is where she spent most of her time putting all her stuff together. Um and once we get a chance to, and when they have the memorial and we get together, we'll let Bunny tell her own story. You get a chance to see why we have to rally around Bunny and get Bunny set. So but I'm gonna be a little bit more specific, because most of the time when I'm talking, people saying, "Okay, that's all Blanco do is talk business," and it kind of like, people expect that all the time. So sometimes, they don't have an open ear because they're not here for business most of the time. But in this case, what I want to suggest, and I'm going to talk to her team about it, because you have the VRU. I'm going to talk to her team about it, and I'm going to throw it out there right now. So if anybody's aware of what I'm talking about, I'm glad you're back, Jay, because but what I'm going to suggest, typically, how communities and different groups support each other. I always say that if you're not part of those parts of society, you're not familiar with it, you wouldn't know how to take advantage of it. Okay. So, first and foremost, there are organizations, there are for profit as well as nonprofit organizations out there that raise money. They raise funds for projects and different things. So, I'm going to give you a little small example. In Chicago, right? Whenever they are doing a fundraiser, it's typically an organization that already has this list, that those people know when they go through that organization, everything they do is a total tax write off, because that organization is going to handle everything from sending them, the 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 W-2s or the W-9s, whatever document you would need at the end of the year to write off everything that you donated to that organization that calls. And typically those organizations, since they have their own database and have their own list, they can raise a lot of funds up in the millions of dollars, right? So sometimes typically you have to pay for those organizations to come on and take on your project. But in most cases, people don't know about it. They don't do it. They try to do it themselves, right? So you have those type of organizations. So we would need people to probably seek out those organizations and look some up, some that are active, and see what organizations would be available for something like that. Um, and sometimes those things are tied into people when they do GoFundMe pages and things like that. You can look at it from two different ways. Okay, you can say you did a and try to get what you could based on how powerful your story is, or it took it through an organization that's tax exempt, right? And that organization actually takes it over. So everybody that gives money to that organization, like I said, is totally tax exempt. Now, the thing is, we're near the end of the year, toward the end of this fiscal year, and most people are already scrambling now to find companies organizations, foundations to get money from, because it's going to be a tax write-off at the end of the year. It's close to the end of the year. They'll get that money back, or that write-off comes next year in April. So this is the time before the 31st, the end of the year, that most people are now scrambling to private offices, and these are major, like, private offices and private family foundations. This is major. So it'll be a good time to actually go after these particular entities for whatever cause it is. So so I'm going to suggest to them that they set up a GoFundMe, right? But have that GoFundMe linked up with an organization or nonprofit or for profit with a nonprofit background or aspect, where they can actually raise the serious funds, right? Because we don't want to try to get up no $5,000, $10,000, right? We want to try to get up a couple of million, few million, whatever. So those are the type of things I'm going to suggest. So keep in mind, y'all, that these are the opportunities that are out there for raising large amounts of funds, because the organizations that will do these things on your behalf. Now, like I said, if the organization, let's say if the organization requires $20,000, because that cost it takes for them to set up everything, right? The full thing that they do, and get out there in front of their constituents, who can probably give upwards up to $20 million upwards, then that would be something that we would probably be trying to figure out how to get the group, right? The group, the large scale of people we know, to come up with whatever fee it takes to hire that company to go out and get that kind of money to take care of what we're trying to take care of. So, and this thing I'm talking about, y'all, is really no different than any other institution or any other society. When they have a member of their society, something happens, and they want to support them, like criminal charges, they'll go out and raise a few $1 million for them. Simple as that. And they do a mechanism by which they'll get this money back. So that's the first thing. So we're gonna have to keep in mind that this is something that we got to get prepared to do, because we have to help, because she's on her own with all of her responsibilities to children and all those different things, and we're the only family she got, so we got to move like that. Okay, and second of all, we've been experiencing, well, I've been experiencing, a lot of, a lot of concern, looking at where into the 20th century. We're here in the 20th century, and we have a lot of people here, that are really trying to make some things happen, but we don't have a mindset. We don't have a collective mindset yet to be moving totally in a direction where we're trying to create our own economy. The majority of people, like I said, because they don't have a business background, they're looking to Horizons. They're trying to do what Horizon say to do to get paid through Horizon, just like all the other platforms like that. So today's all of someone was really exposing TikTok has turned around and say, hey, we know we was paying y'all this amount of money, but now we want you to put out, 6 videos. Now it became 10 videos at a time for the same type of, well, not even the same pay. They're even reducing the rate in which they pay. So these platforms now, as they're getting further into another trajectory, I guess another what you call it, a metrics. They've reached another milestone. Yeah, they reached another milestone. They're starting to reduce the type of money you can make with them by asking you to do more for the same thing. Well, it's my understanding that Horizon World's done the same thing, but I think all the corporations and all businesses will do the same thing, because that's what they're designed to do, right? They're designed to take us as customers and get us to perform. They use us as the part of the development. So we're here using this platform, learning how to use these tools and whatnot, but we're being creative and in the creators' rights give you digital property interest. And so we're good on our end, but the other side of the story is a lot of people who don't really understand that they got to set up their own business. They need to know business, and they need to know how to really do it on this platform. That's what I'm concerned about. So I will begin having more discussions at my discussion hall. It's called the Scorpion and I Discussion Hall. It's nothing that's going to be formal, but I've been researching topic after topic after topic, and I've been consolidating content, and it will deal with everything from business. Um, it will also deal with thinking, mindset, temperament, and the different things that people need to overcome, right? And when you hear things like generational curses, and you hear a lot of talk about, oh, we need that. Well, we're going to get around a lot of that stuff. We're going to direct to the source about information, understanding, and things like that, because we cannot move forward with certain mindsets, and you can't even begin to understand what's ahead of us dealing with technology. As you're dealing with technology, technology will deal with you. So you have to be up to par with that. And so that will be, so whenever you see Scorpion and I discuss hall, when you see people over there, if you see announcements going out and whatnot, you're going to see me hosting a panel of 4, myself including 3 people. And anytime there's 3 people on that panel, that's because those people have information on that particular topic. It won't be no big open discussion, arguments, or things like that. You can come in, pull out your pencil and paper, or you can ask some questions, and you'll be getting information as it pertains to today and what's coming in the near future. That's the kind of topics I'm going to start bringing, because this platform here is not, we're not going to be here all night to have this kind of topics. So this is just for announcing the news on the outside and the news on the inside. And now Jay Vanity is here. I want Jay to come back up here in front of the camera, and I want Jay to tell us what she's got going on, because Jay be putting on the biggest type of events going.
Thank you so much, Blanco. Thank you, Creator News, for having me come on as a special guest for a little pop-up segment. Recently I've just been working with YG and the Electric Crew. He's going to be building some LGBT worlds and reestablishing that mind frame of just having the community come together again. From there, I just got some SG in for her personal brand, for Diamond Resilience, for just having a clothing and collection assets and stuff being worked on personally. Also, I'll be working on some art galleries and just some fine tuning on my perfecting my craft and stuff like that in Blender and in here as well.
That blender, that word keeps coming up. That blender and Unity. I was having a conversation last night about it. We had some people from that came from Alt Space, and they were talking about, not being able to have access to use that tool yet, because over here people who are monetized, right? They have
Correct,
access
yeah.
to it and all that. So some of the people are stagnated over here, but they don't know the first thing about VR chat. So you do have people that want to come over there and get started, since they can't get started over here now. And hopefully it'll open up over here too for those who have that skill set. Blender and Unity is what everybody needs to be familiarizing yourself with too, if you want to move on with the trends. The trends of building and expanding your builds in terms of the type of feeling and presence you want to create, because
It's
there's still,
form of like adapting, a form of adapting for sure.
yeah, you gotta adapt, because that's what it is. Everything is progressively elevating to another adaptation, and that's what Jay was telling me about. Because I was like telling Jay, like, we was just talking about the other night. We're just talking about some things that we had been doing, but we know they weren't on the scale that you were doing. But we were just doing it because it was something new, like with the t-shirts, the new design of t-shirts. So that's how we got into that conversation, and then that conversation, once I started running to other people, now it's getting chance to see, like, okay, I see now that you're moving in a different direction, and they're just getting started, because they, like I said, they're not let's say acclimated to the technology, right? Because just like AI, it's the new disruptive technology for primitive building, right? Unity or Blender would be the disruption in our case, because now that's where it's escalating to. So yeah, so I just wanted Jay to come in, but in particular, what you was telling me about, you got any particular setting up over there in VR chat or preparing for?
I've just been practicing, really. Nothing really major, nothing big, but you guys know where to find me on IG, and I'll be posting stuff.
Okay.
Thank you,
Right.
Blanc.
I want you guys to be aware of that. We're gonna be doing. We're gonna be have to focus on rallying around Bunny, and everybody needs to be trying to come up with, some resources in terms of those different vehicles and those things like that. And I'm gonna continue to reach out to a few people in here, because I know that MF Son, he has a nonprofit. I know he has an exemption. I got to catch him now to see if that would be a project he want to take on, so that we can really, make some moves to take care of each other. Oh yeah, and the last one, we've been going over to VR chat, and and Miss Rocks and Universe has been hosting the horror horror worlds. We've been jumping from horror world to horror world, and it's been excitingly crazy, because I don't usually game in here, y'all. So, but going to those things, it's been crazy, crazy. So and because what we learned is some of those worlds will have up to 8 people. Some you have to go 4 or 2 at a time. I don't know, but 8 at the most, if I remember. So if you decide to come on a Friday night and you see us, just party up, and we all go. And if there's 2 crowds, they'll split up into different ends. It's fun when you go as a crowd like that. And those worlds were super fun. And the one I just did that Friday, it was just because I was on and I had a free night. So that was just me taking people to different worlds and giving them avatars and things like that. But start looking forward to trying to catch up with different people when they go to VR chat to do things that we don't have over here, because it turns out to be a real good experience. So I just want you guys to know that, and that's what it is. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and thanks for our guests that came in tonight. And we are gonna see you every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. This is Creators1News, and I am El Blanco. Thank you and good night.